Hey kids, I'm Jack Trash.
And I am Chris McLernon.
And welcome into Plus One, a rock and roll podcast.
Rock and roll, yeah.
This is the first show that we've done where we're not having a by-the-book rock star on.
Right, or musician for that matter.
Yes, we're not a musician.
Yeah.
We are bringing in the guy that got me interested in wanting to be in music radio.
Mm-hmm.
The guy who's my mentor and one of my best friends in the whole world. His name is Ted Pritchard. He goes by the name Thrasher.
Yep.
He was on the radio in Los Angeles at KNAC where I was.
Yep.
I heard him. I was driving to Northern California for it must have been for Christmas, and they were talking about the night before at the Christmas party. All the stuff that was going on the Christmas party, and KNAC had a very small signal.
It did. I mean, it was a long
reach, but a small signal.
It did, yeah. If you lived in the valley, sometimes you couldn't get it.
Yeah, and I remember I got it all the way up to Magic Mountain, which is
sounds about right. Yeah,
it's like 90 miles from where
it's like Valencia. Yeah, all of a sudden you can't get it. Yeah, sure.
And I listened to Thrasher every morning, and it was right then and there that I said I want to go to next year's KNAC Christmas party.
There you go.
And I did. So it was kind of my moment. So the reason that I'm sitting here is because of the guy that we're about to talk to.
Right. Well, and again, fitting in one of the themes of the show, if you think it, you can be it, kind of the Rocky Horror thing. If you put your mind to it, you just some way you'll figure it out, no matter how outlandish it is. It's because it's not to you. It's, that's what you want to do. Other people are like, yeah, right, whatever. No, they just don't want to try. But yeah, right. you did it, man. You're like, okay, I want to be there. And you were. And
I was. And so it was, I don't know, it was January. It was the next it was, after I got back from Northern California, and I enrolled in the Academy of Radio Broadcasting.
There you go.
In Huntington Beach. What I did is I called KNAC, and the late great Tawn Mastery answered the phone.
Tawn, oh God, love her.
Yes. And I said, I want to be in radio. What's the best way to do it? And she said to me, the Academy of Radio Broadcasting is the way to go. She goes, take any job you can get, but from that point on, go towards where you want to be. So if a country job opened up, take that country job. But if you want to be a rock guy, go to the rock. Anyway.
That sounds like Tawn.
Yep. And I went the very first day. There was a guy sitting next to me, and he said, I got the guy's name who's hiring the interns at KNAC. So the next day,
what's his name, sir? Yeah.
I was at the station. And luckily, the receptionist thought I was cute.
There you go.
Got me in to meet this another, unfortunately, late, great Tom Marr. And Tom Marr was also not only the promotion director at the radio station, he was also the assistant golf coach at Long Beach State. Well,
there you go. So that fits into your wheelhouse, big time.
We talked golf. He said, you have 1 day of experience.
But better than none day.
I'm not hiring the interns for another 4 months. If you want to come in and just kind of get up to speed, we can do that. And that happened. And 4 days later, the guy driving the van quit. I'll do it.
There you go.
And that's how it started.
Would that be the same van that appeared in Dawkins' It's Not Love video?
It is.
There you go. There's a little trivia for the kids out there.
Yes, you can see it there. Any Bon Jovi live looking video, like You Give Love a Bad Name or any of those?
That's right. Yeah.
I handed out all those stickers. There were tons of stickers.
It's hard to understand now with the advent of Sirius XM, but the KNAC literally changed the landscape. Because there was nobody playing hard rock, but really hard rock, like Ted was saying, metal church. I was like, nobody played metal church unless it was like WSOU in Newark, Ohio, or Newark, New Jersey. No way.
No.
And you're popping it on like, is that Metallica? And not like the quote single like One. No, it's like Leper Messiah.
Yeah.
You know, it was like the deep tracks.
Oh yeah.
So KNAC had this amazing ability, A, from being first, but B, also to create loyalty early on that stayed all so much so that, as you know, at the very last day, we know who the last visitors were. We'll do that at the end.
Yeah.
But you know, but I don't think I met Ted. I might have met him in the old days.
Right.
But I was just amazed at how what a great, just as far as like metal being aggressive and angry and all that stuff, Ted would be the exact opposite.
Yes. Yes.
Just this nice, kind, smart soul.
Absolutely.
I'm so bummed, like I haven't known him longer, but I feel like I've known him already for half my life.
Absolutely. And Ted it was older than all of us. You know, he's I don't know, he's like 15 years older than I am, but he was older than ever because we were all kids working there.
Oh yeah, but that was the fun of it, like for us, you know.
No, and the the thing we'll get to the interview in just a second, but the thing that I always remember is we would get into these fake arguments on the air, and I would be winning the argument every single time, and then he would end it with, "Yeah, but guys over 40 can control their orgasms."
Wow,
you win.
That's quite a kill shot.
It was.
That is definitely, I got it in my sights, and then they pee, and down he goes. Okay, sniper got him. Right. You're not winning that one.
That was the way they all ended. So
yeah, he just drew you in every time, like, wait, and scene.
Okay, yeah, all right, you win.
Gotcha. Busted.
Exactly. All right. So without any further ado, here is our conversation with Thrashpie.
Bring him on.
Are you already rolling, Jack?
Oh yeah, it's been rolling.
Well, then let's just start right here. I wanted to start. So, Chris, sorry about the Packers, but
there's a lot of good stuff there.
There's a lot of good stuff there. But what I wanted to talk, I haven't watched a football game since the Rams won the Super Bowl 2 years ago, and I watched both games last weekend. All right, so and naturally, we're in here having potato chips and beer and all that stuff,
sure.
And the Taylor Swift watch comes on, right?
Sure.
And so you get to take a shot when Taylor Swift comes on. So she didn't come on that much, thank God. But I heard this morning. I'm not sure that I have all the stats correct. I couldn't find the story again, but her presence on the television has created a significant jump in the ratings of females 12 to 24 listening, and has doubled females 18 to 35.
Totally.
NFL.
Totally believe it.
Yeah. Isn't that nuts? That's absolutely nuts.
Right. Well, what's nuts to me is people that are complaining about it. It's like, you got women watching football now, maybe getting into the game, understanding and doing stuff with their, significant others.
There you go. And that's exactly right. It's people give her a lot of crap, but this is a woman.
She's not going over the kicker. I mean, come on,
She is 1% of America's gross domestic product. Can you take that in? She is.
No. I just read something that there are at least a half a dozen countries that are begging her to play in their country because of the money she brings in.
Yeah, it's absolutely nuts. Yeah, you love her or hate her,
Yeah, well, nothing I've seen for her, and I've heard this stuff too. It's like nothing I've ever sampled just gone made me, whether it's her personality, music, makes me go, God, get off my screen. I mean, she's talented, she's smart, she works hard. What's there to lose?
And she's really good to her people. I
understand that. Yeah.
Right.
That is crucial.
Yeah,
especially in this case. I can get this. Oof.
And every single town she plays, she donates to the local food bank.
Awesome.
Hey, what? Okay.
So what's the problem?
She's got to be doing something nasty.
Right. She's got a club foot or something, right?
Okay. Or Travis Kelce, is anyhow.
Right, something like a hamster or something,
Yeah, right.
She's getting robbed.
That's nice. Awesome. And so I did some checking here real quick. And we'll talk about this again, I'm sure. But it's in my book. It's drastically reduced on geniusbookpublishing.com, but still available. Thankfully, I thought they were dumping me. It's
Good.
like it can be $2.99, but you do have to pay shipping with them. So it's probably $10 or something. I don't know. But it's back on Amazon, which is cool. And
Good.
there's a Kindle available at $3.99. So I think that's what I wanted to do in the first place when I was down at your place in Sarasota, Jack, with you. Right. When I getting the whole thing started a few years ago. Right. I wanted less than $5, please. Come on. We're not talking about Taylor Swift. And no, I'm not Taylor. I'm not Ted Swift. Come on. That's funny. So,
do you actually have a physical copy of the new book?
Yeah. Hold on a second. I'll get it. I forgot to bring that. Damn it.
They've got a guest at their house who's cooking meth in the background.
I was going to say, yeah, that's clearly some sort of grinding.
Yeah, exactly.
Product grinding.
I don't know what he's doing now. That doesn't look good.
No, it doesn't really. Oh man, oh man. Oh.
All right. Yes, I do have it.
There it is.
I can't barely see myself. I want to split screen, but
there it is. Yep, I got it. I got it too. Yay.
Okay, cool. That's the original cover, and there's a new cover for the other one, but they're both right beside each other on Amazon. So
okay, good.
So very good about that. So let's see. Questions. Jack. Yeah. Go ahead.
Let's go there. So we've talked before. Let's talk about the you getting to KNAC.
Oh,
right.
Fine. Absolutely, yeah. Well, I was about 8 years in. No, I'm sorry, 4 or 5 years in. I'd got started in Charlotte. I got my first morning radio show in Orlando, and then I wound up getting bumped up to a top 20 market in Tampa, St. Pete. And we were in this funky old radio station, like it was corrugated tin on the outside. The tower was in the side yard. And
wow.
When it rained real hard, the front yard was about 8 inches deep in water. So
did it include a crystal set?
God, it should have. I actually had a pretty good singer. We had a good engineer, but it was one of the original buildings, I guess, of some FM station there. Deal was, I took a break from there, took a vacation, and I came to Los Angeles to see a buddy of mine, a guy named Lou Simon, who was at CBS FM out here. And we were tootling around in the car, and he says, "Oh, man, you got to hear this station. It just went on the air." This would have been about January 9th or 10th of 86.
Okay.
And he punched up the station, and boom, out came, I think it was Metal Church,
wow.
as I recall. Yeah. So something was rocking hard and kept rocking hard. He said, "Man," he said, my antenna was up at that point, and he said, "You'd be great on this station, man. You could. Everybody's got a character name. It's crazy. It's it's a big, huge costume party. You'd be great on this." So when I got back to Tampa, I proceeded to make a new air check every 3 weeks or so and mail that to every radio station in Los Angeles. So the first mailing, that is, I should say, every radio station that played music. And I think there were about 40 of them at that time. There were 83 or 4 total signals, AM and FM, in this market in Los Angeles.
Wow.
At that time. So that's how much, airspace is being taken up with radio frequency. Our brains are all fried. But
and that's only, I think we're only the odd frequencies, right? We don't do the even ones.
That's right, not the even ones. Yeah, and there was no HD2, HD1, none of that stuff then. So like I said, I marched into the post office at Clearwater, Florida, with an armful of these packages for this, young woman behind the counter at the post office to start, weighing and stamping. And she looked at me like, you son of a bitch.
Again.
Don't you know I'm a postal worker? I'm not supposed to be doing anything. So
And
anyway,
we get angry.
yeah, good. So the next week or the next month, it was considerably less mailings because I'd gotten some letters from people that basically said thanks for the tape, but we're not looking.
Right. For sure.
So I kept up every month for the next almost 6 months as my target audience whittled down to about maybe a dozen. And amongst that group, there were some that said, essentially, we're going to get a restraining order if you send us any more tapes.
Thank you, sir, but that's enough.
Right. So short story longer. I got a part in a movie. That one is called King Kong Lives, and they were shooting in Wilmington, North Carolina. I took some more vacation to go up there and did that. And naturally, as movies go, it ran over. And so I stayed a couple of extra days. I called back and said, hey, look, man, I'm up here, I got to stay, And they said, okay, so fine. But when I got back, there was a nice letter in my mailbox said, you've been away without leave. You've been AWOL without permission. And so we're going to, you got 2 weeks, 2 weeks notice. That's it. So anyhow, I started going up and down the coastline there. I was on another little station somewhere. No, actually they were both in North Carolina. One WBCY in Charlotte, the other in WTRG in Raleigh. And I would go back and forth between the two. And just for the rest of the summer, I was about to give up on it all. And lo and behold, one day I got a message at one of the radio stations that said, hey, call Jimmy Christopher at KNAC. He wants to talk to you. So, oh, great. So I called him. He picked up the phone and we talked for a minute. And he said, yeah, I want you to come out and do mornings. I said, pretty much just like that, within about a minute or two of us being on the phone, having heard one of my tapes. And I said, gosh, that's... I'm in North Carolina. You're in California. It's going to take me 3 days to drive there.
Sure, yeah.
He said, basically, can you start Monday? I think it was Thursday or Friday when we talked. But so that's a story about how I got the job. I sent him some more, of my production and stuff like that. And we talked again. And he said, yeah, when you get out here, get a hold of me and we'll start you about October, which is what happened. And that's how I got there. I pestered him to death.
Nice.
Now, for those of us at home who, like, I've been in lots of radio stations, but I've never worked in one. What exactly is an air check?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, an air check
right?
at that time.
We're gonna have to get glossaries at the end of these, Jack.
Right.
For everything,
Exactly.
Yeah, and really,
not just us, but for everybody.
Yeah, air check, just in general terms, is about 3 or 4 minutes of what you consider to be your best work. All right, and that would be you speaking on the air, and with the music eliminated so that all you hear are the various breaks of you doing whatever you do.
Yeah, you hear the outs of the songs and then you talking and then the beginning of the next song and then boom, goes to the next one. And
so boom, 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 boom. And in those days, it would have been recorded on a cassette.
Sure.
And that cassette would have been dubbed to a reel-to-reel. You then take your tape and blade,
right,
and get all your breaks together.
Yeah, your old-fashioned editing. Yeah.
Get it all old-fashioned editing, and then put back on another cassette and put in the mail. And that's how you did it. So these, and in order to get the addresses for the radio station, you had to go to the library because there was no internet.
Right,
right. You had to go look all that stuff up. And
was it like some sort of FCC catalog kind of thing, or?
Yeah, there are those, but I just looked them up in the in the Los Angeles. When I looked in the Los Angeles directory,
oh, well,
they're all listed. See, so that I was localized in that respect.
I got you.
I was focused on one city. Okay. So so that's pretty much it. Nowadays, one would keep a digital pre-recorded air check on your computer file. The guy calls you, said, I want to hear your work. Boom, you send him an email and attach the file, and it's done. See you later. So it's a, entirely different world from these
And the
days.
post office workers are much happier.
They're much happier.
Yes, they are.
Yeah, they are. I wound up in Simi Valley for a couple of days, staying with my buddy, the guy that I used as a reference at
Cool.
CBS Radio here. Drove down to the station, and they were getting ready for Halloween. So everybody in the office was totally, like axes in their heads with blood all over the place.
Sure.
There
Like a
were
regular Tuesday, though, KNAC.
Exactly. They looked like the guys we were playing. They made Poison look like a bunch of pussies. Well, oh, whoops. What did I say? Huh? Yeah. So I just thought, okay, this is going to be fun, super fun. Yeah. First couple of months were kind of uneventful. I didn't really find a groove for 2 or 3 weeks. Just having not been on the air for a little bit. That takes a while, for at least for me, to get back in the swing of it. And you got a whole bunch of equipment that's all brand new that you got to get used to too. And
Right.
This was totally at KNAC, but it was totally straight out of the 70s.
Yeah.
Everything was borrowed and stolen and rewired and band-aids taped everything together. It was
like Soviet era wall stuff.
exactly. It was a garage band. It was that much fun. You know what I mean? So it was a big repertory company.
But I'm guessing you were allowed to kind of build your own personality, because at that point they're just like you said, metal church. You guys could have been quacking into the microphone. They were just so happy to hear the other stuff, so you could develop who you were, as opposed to the pressure of, now I'm at KNAC, now I have to be somebody because we're KNAC.
Right. So I was given absolute more freedom than I'd ever been given anywhere, and it never happened again anywhere else either. So yeah, the interesting part about my name was that I didn't quite know what I was going to call myself. I knew I had to figure something out.
Sure.
As I was driving across the country, I thought, geez, this is theater. We got to do something. Look at it's Kiss. It's
Right.
all this wild stuff. I've got to have some sort of a character. And I didn't quite have anything really nailed down until I met a young woman named Diane Morales. And Diane was one of the promotion directors at KROC at the time. She was a friend of my buddy's. And I had gone by, jokingly, Rock and Roll Ted on my first station in North Carolina. And when she heard that, she said, no, you can't be Rock and Roll Ted. You got to be Thrasher. You got to be Thrasher Ted, and that's essentially where the name comes. It was first thought it should be the Thrasher, but then just Thrasher. Yeah. So the idea of Thrashpie happened on this first day. I walked past the sales office, and there was a guy named Phil Hewlett, who's now the voice of the Ducks. And, he was a newsreader here in town for a good 10, 12 years. He's a great one. He was on KNAC, I think, doing news in the mornings. And this guy was raised on Frank Zappa records and God knows what kind of mushrooms. So he had on a suit and he had all that going. But I walked by the desk, and that's the first question everybody there asked, what's your name going to be? What are you going to do? Not what are you going to do? What's your name going to be? Right. And I said, yeah, Thrasher. He said, Thrashpie. I mean, just like that off the top of his head. That's how whacked out he is. So that's where that came from. And it turned into a really good hook, and I built some hooks around it that people still say to me today. The first one was, Thrashpie, my favorite guy.
There you go.
How silly is that? But people still say that.
Yeah, right. But it works.
And you used it for some great characters to play on the show too. There was Dr. Thrashfinger. Sure. Yeah, those alter egos. Yes. Absolutely. Alter egos. I had 2 or 3 of them. The first one was a takeoff on the Mickey Spillane books, Mike Hammer. Sure. And there was a television show at the time that was a takeoff on those called Sledgehammer. Yes. Sledgehammer. So when I saw that, I said, I could be Thrashhammer. And I had this awesome music bed from not Les Dudek, but
wow, Les Dudek. Wow, I've not heard that name in a while.
Yeah, right. Anyway, great blues player. I'll think of his name in a minute. But I had this blues bed that I would tell these bullshit stories over, and they would end up with a punchline. They were essentially illustrated jokes. Okay.
Sure.
And there was Thrash Hammer. The second one, the second one was Dr. Thrashfinger, proctologist to the stars.
Yes. with the best though was Nurse Rug Burns.
Nurse Rug Burns. That was my special.
Wow.
And I had to do all the voices, so it's obviously me. So they sound really ridiculous, but they were funny.
Right,
I'll tell you how that. Yeah, I'll tell you how that came about. Dr. Thrashfinger. I was living in Manhattan Beach when I first got here. I had two roommates. One guy was an aspiring television guy, and he wound up doing really well. But the next guy, Scott something or other, he was a banker. And he comes home one day, and I'm there early because I get off at 10, and, I can screw around or whatever. I meet him at the house. He comes in, and he says, "Am I limping?" I said, "What are you talking about? Are you limping?" He said, "Well, my company gives us annual physical fitness exams every year, and we had to have a proctology exam today. And the guy that does them, we call Goldfinger." And so
wow.
I just started laughing like hell, Goldfinger, and forgot about it. A couple nights later, I'm down in Sunset Beach screwing around with some guys drinking beer on the roof of their place. And I tell them the story about my buddy Scott and the prostate exam. And the one guy says, "Oh, it should be Dr. Thrashfinger." He just said that as an off the cuff thing and a thing. Yeah. And that rang a bell in my head right there. I said, "Oh boy, here we go again." And I left that party. I went to the station. So it was about 2:33 in the morning. I illustrated another joke. I created the first one and played it the next morning. And it was that. And the rest is history. Yeah, that's actually absolutely true. It's one of those stories like, I'm sure you've heard all these all the time, Chris, like the guys in Leonard Skinner, they were sitting around watching TV and somebody just went, bum, 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 bum. And then 10 minutes later, they had, Sweet Home Alabama or something like that kind of, the way creativity sneaks in and everybody's bell is rung at once.
Right. Yeah, and it's so important to pay attention when that happens.
Yeah, and I'm sure you've been involved in that because that's how it happens. It's the people that, for some reason, have forgotten to listen to that lose touch with that very big part of themselves. It's just and it's kind of a bloody shame because I think everybody to a degree is really creative, but they shut it off someplace or another.
Yeah, somewhere in grammar school it gets shut off.
I think you're right.
Yep.
Somewhere.
And then the trick is, like you said, if you're around somebody you're around a lot of it, it'll come back out.
It does.
I've noticed that with everyone, especially like you said, like at barbecues when you're hanging out, there's always that one kind of quiet guy, and he's like checking out on the humor, and he wants to say something, and then he does, and he's like the hit of it, and he's like, "You did it."
Right.
And it's like, well, yeah, that was already in you, buddy. You just got to remember to listen to that guy.
Exactly. Yeah. It's fascinated me for a long, long time.
Yeah.
You get in a situation like that, and that's what KNAC was when you open the front door and walk in. It was like a repertory theater. That energy was in everybody there.
Yeah.
And that is so rare. I mean, that is so rare.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
It was at the first station I was at, which is probably what inspired me to keep doing radio. And then on the 6 or 7 in between that and KNAC, it just wasn't there.
Right.
I mean, you're going in, you're talking in a microphone and going home. You know what I mean?
Right.
The atmosphere was not the same. So,
well, chemistry is so important, like you said. You get a couple of people like that, and then everyone wants to do it, and it feeds on itself.
Yeah.
And but so does the opposite. If there's a vacuum there, it just kind of lays down, and it repels people. It just does.
Absolutely, it sucks the air out of the room, and there's nothing to. I'm sure you guys have experienced that with Saigon. Probably happens with everybody, right?
Oh yeah, you know it when like everyone's farting around like at sound check. They're like, "Oh, what was that?"
Yeah. Oh, what was that?
Yeah, everybody goes, "Hold on, whoa." There's so many times in the studio we would tell our engineer, just hey, hit record, and I mean 2 or 3 songs in the Water record came out that way. We just
is that right?
And had it. Just thank God we did because it would have been right in the ether.
Yeah,
boom.
that's right.
Yeah.
They're gone. It's like having a dream that you wake up and remember for 3 or 4 seconds, and then it's gone.
Yeah.
You cannot hit play. And once that pause is on, right. It's crucial.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I agree with you. Everyone's got it. Everyone has it.
Agreed. 100%.
Listening to before I joined Thrasher on his show, listening to Thrash Finger and Thrash Hammer, those were my favorites. And so that was my main focus, was at some point we're gonna do one together, and we ended up doing Thrash Vader, I think.
And we did that, and we also did the one which was a little bit of a recurring item. I think it was the Saved by the Smell. Right? Saved by the Smell.
Yes.
It was and it was horrible, but it was, we did it 2 or 3 times, so that was good. Yeah, that's a fascinating concept. I've always been interested in it, as to how that happens, why that happens, and how you keep it going, and how do you tap in on it. It's a communal thing, I've come to conclude. So
absolutely.
Yeah. So fascinating.
Yes. Before you got to KNAC, you told me the story once, and I want you to retell it. You were at a radio station where, if I remember right, you told us this at Thanksgiving, and I think we almost puked because we were laughing so hard. You were at a radio station, and one of the jocks hated the owner and told the new guy to go out and count the towers.
All right, it's true. The guy's name is Larry Sprinkle. He just messed with everybody at the station, and it was an honor to be messed with him.
Yeah.
And he also messed with the owner of the station. So he had that kind of chutzpah.
I was going to say secure job. Yeah.
Right. That's what I say. Like, that was another repertory company of people. Well, we had a new guy on the air, a guy named Gilbo, man. Gilbo was, an African-American dude. Hey, dude. Hey, man. It's Gilbo. And here's Foreigner. That was his kind of rap, or whatever. He didn't have much going on. He was the all-night guy. Well, he'd get in there and he'd smoke a reefer about as big as your arm, and then go on the air. So Larry Sprinkle knew that this happened with him. So one night, Larry calls the hotline, and he's going to put Gilbo through his paces. Now, at this radio station, we were out in the country, beautiful building, and we had 4 AM radio towers in the backyard and 1 FM tower. So that's 4 plus 1 is 5.
Sure.
So Larry calls the hotline. Gilbo picks up, because hotline means business, right? So he gets his shit together as best he can. And Larry is impersonating Stan Kaplan, the owner, which I will do now. Who's this on my fucking phone? Who's this? Oh, it's Gilbo, Mr. Kaplan. Listen, we got a problem. We have a high wind warning. You need to go out in the yard and make sure there are 6 towers in the backyard. 6 towers. You got that right? Hang up the phone. I'll call you back in 10 minutes. So Gilbo goes outside. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Again, 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, 5. Oh, God. What am I going to do? He goes back into the station. Larry calls back. Well, what did you see out there? Oh, Mr. Kaplan, I don't know what to tell you, but there's only 5 towers out there. God damn it. Get back out there. Make goddamn sure there's 6 towers out there. Get out there and count them again. Count them again. So out he goes again, and he comes back in. So Gilbo answers the phone again in 10 minutes. What'd you find? God damn it. This is crazy. I don't know what we're going to do. Get out there, try one more time, and then call me back at this number, when he gives him the real Stan Kaplan's number.
Wow.
All right. So
it's a hell of a setup.
Yeah, oh my God. Yeah. This is probably taking an hour, right? So, so he goes back out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh shit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh shit. Back in, dials the number. Stan picks up the phone, the real Stan. Hello, what yes, Mr. Kaplan, I been counting the towers like you told me, and I can't even. And Stan goes, God damn it! Listen, nobody told you to count those fucking towers, and you tell that Larry Sprinkle if he imitates me again on the phone, I'm gonna fire his ass. He knew exactly who it was.
Love it.
Yes, but that's like that's probably the most complicated radio prank I've ever been a part of. Oh,
That's a good one.
that's a good one. Well, the best one, I don't know how much time we have. I'll tell this as quickly as I can. This was in the waning days of KNAC, Jack, and I think you were already gone and in Florida. But I went on the air and said something stupid about Kurt Cobain and, the countdown. And he had been, fairly newly dead.
Okay.
And, just
before you finish this story.
Yeah.
When grunge first started, because it went from, nothing but a good time to, the
Fell on Black Days
stuff. Before any of that, we categorize that as gun and mouth music.
Gun and mouth music. Yeah, that's right.
Wow.
Gun and mouth music from Pearl or whoever. Yeah. It was depressing. Some of that shit was depressing. So, all right. Well, anyway, so I did some smirky things on the air about Kurt Cobain. So I get a message from our head secretary, receptionist, girl named Aisa Juarez, who now runs the SoFi Theater over there. And she says, listen, no, I'm sorry. It's not Kurt Cobain. It was about Courtney Love.
Okay.
No, wait a minute. I'm screwing it up. It was about Kurt Cobain, but this message from Aisa said, Courtney Love is called and she's pissed. She wants to get her lawyer and sick of her on the station and blah, 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 blah. She goes on and then I go, she wants you to call her back at this number. I said, I'm not calling Courtney Love.
Shit, so, look what she did to Kurt. I'm not calling.
Exactly. So I go, I just kind of throw the message away. About 5 minutes later, she calls again on the hotline. Listen, Courtney Love is going absolutely nuts and she's gonna sue us. And Gary, our general manager, Gary Price, wants you to call this woman and calm her down. And I said, oh shit. So I'm thinking, oh boy, this could be big trouble. If Gary's involved, it's big time.
Right.
So I get this phone message. I go to the phone in the jock's room. I shut the door and I'm thinking, maybe I should go find a box so I can put all my stuff in it real quick and just get out when they fire me.
Sure.
These headphones, crap, whatever. And so I dial this number and on the other end, I go, hi, this is Thrasher. I'm from KNAC. I've been told to call this and speak with Courtney Love. And she hears, and I hear on the other end a female voice, you son of a bitch. What the hell is what's the idea of saying all those horrible things? And yeah, you cocksucker motherfucker. Every horrible word you can imagine to be called. Yeah. This woman called me within about 30 seconds and click, hangs up the phone. I go, oh my God, oh boy. So I go up and I'm walking through the hallway there and Gary Price's secretary comes to me and says, Gary would like to see you right now. So I go in, sit in Gary's office. I walk in, he says, hey Thrash, come on in, man, have a seat. And I, like he's totally out of the loop. He has no idea what's going on. I said, well, I just, I said some stuff on the air about this. And this woman called, Courtney Love, she's really upset, blah, 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 blah. And I go through the whole process. I take about 10, 15 minutes to tell the story. And he goes, okay, well, we better get Val, our promotion director, in on this because she has some contacts with that record label, blah, blah, blah. And Val comes in and sits down next to me. And he says, go ahead and tell Val what happened. And I start over again with the story. And I'm about 5 minutes in, and Val turns to me. And in the exact same voice I heard on the phone says, you cocksucker, you motherfucking son of a bitch. and they got me. And I was thinking, oh my God, what the hell is wrong with Val? what's going on? And then it hit me, and I was just thinking, oh, I looked over and Gary, my general manager, he was just chuckling away. He'd been on it the whole time. And in fact, everybody in the station had been in on it because, I went past the sales department and their heads were down. They were all doing this kind of thing. Right. And I just thought, man, this is certainly one of the best radio pranks, maybe on record. That was just an awesome one. That was great. Yep. No balls on a platter, no quick vacation, nothing like that. So, whew. And those are my radio prank stories. Man, I hadn't thought about that in a while, but that was a doozy.
A doozy.
That was a doozy. Yeah. Wow. So, listen, you guys, this has been a lot of fun for me. I hope you get to talk to some other people that, don't run their mouths the whole time. Well, again, the book.
Yes.
I'll just do one more. This is the old cover, but the new cover is available. Geniusbookspublishing.com. It's real cheap there, but you do have to pay shipping. Right. It's back on Amazon. So there is I think a $14.95 version, but the Kindle is $3.99. I'm all for Kindle. When I initially started the project, that's what I wanted to do, is nothing but a Kindle. So I think that's the way to go.
Well, then make sure here we get one of my favorite stories out of the book, and I'll just preface it by saying Helicopter, Rose Bowl, Monsters of Rock.
Oh my goodness. Helicopter, Monsters of Rock. Oof. Yeah, I did that one. Wow. Yeah. That was probably the biggest crowd I've ever been in front of, certainly.
Yeah.
And what happened was, of course, we did, I think Motorhead actually opened the show in Los Angeles, right?
Wow.
No, it was Kingdom Come.
Kingdom Come.
Yes. Yeah.
Kingdom Come.
That's right.
Then,
yes.
Right. I'm trying to remember. Then Motorhead, right? And then Dokken.
Yeah.
God bless them. They put everybody to sleep for a while.
Yeah, not exactly.
And then it was Metallica, then Scorpions, then Van Halen. So Metallica goes on stage, and the structured seating arrangements that they thought was going to work in the Coliseum, that just went away instantly. It looked like a prison riot. I was up in the press box because we were doing radio coverage, right?
Yeah.
And so going from my left to my right, it just was like, boom, a stampede. And after about 5-10 minutes of that, they pulled the plug on them and, shut it down because they thought, they totally misjudged our audience about that kind of thing. Those kids, they weren't going to tear anything up. They certainly jump around and, get sweaty as hell, but, they were not a violent bunch. They were active as hell, Yeah. So anyway, what's his name? Who was the promoter of that one? Was that it was Avalon?
Avalon.
So it would have been Brian. Anyway, Brian Murphy.
Brian Murphy, yeah.
Brian Murphy. And so I'm up there, doing my thing, and Gary Price, general manager again, taps me on the shoulder, says, "Thrash, need you to go on stage and say a few words to this crowd before they get the music going again." I go, "Oh shit, whoa, all right." Wasn't expecting that today. I'd have worn my good clothes, but so they dragged me down there, and the seas parted, and right in backstage we go, and he has a hold of me by my arms. I'm about 6 inches from his face, and he's trying to tell me, "All right, now listen, don't tell him what to do, and don't tell him we're going to stop the show, and don't mention any of the band's names," and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, he sounded like Chewbacca to me, because it was loud as hell, and I'm thinking, okay, what am I going to say? And, a little nerve wracking.
Sure.
So, and then he just turns me and pushes me towards the microphone center stage and says, "And they might throw chairs." Of course they did not, but anyway. Right. So, I got on stage. I don't even remember what I said, but everybody was cool. It calmed down, and the show continued. And that is my memory of Monsters of Rock. It was actually the interesting thing, Jack, you remember our show didn't happen on the scheduled day.
No.
Because Sammy Hagar had a sore throat.
Right.
And we had to go the next day on a Sunday.
It was supposed to be on a Saturday, ended up on a Sunday. So somewhere we printed KNAC stickers with the date, you know, the Coliseum, the Monsters of Rock, KNAC, all that kind of stuff, and they all have the wrong date.
They all have the wrong date, so they're collector's items.
Yes.
So that was, I had it wrong. So it's not the Rose Bowl, that was a Coliseum.
It was the Coliseum.
It's the Coliseum, yes.
Okay.
Look what you're talking about, Chris. And the Rose Bowl was, and this is my second trip through KNAC after KLOS and Pirate and the hospital and all that. And I got up in the Budweiser blimp circling around the Rose Bowl in Pasadena over a Metallica Guns N' Roses show.
That's it.
I was up in a blimp.
That's it.
Yeah, that was cool. That was a big show too.
I'm confused with bands. How reliable am I? I'm confused the bands. I've confused the venue.
I have to think about
it. I think Lindbergh was there. There's a grassy knoll gunman somewhere in the 134. I don't know what happened.
That was crazy.
I apologize.
There's no worries. Think about it. It's what, 35 years ago?
Yeah.
Yeah. Jeez.
So what was that like?
Well, that was pretty cool. I was by myself in this blimp. With the
guys.
Literally? No. It was a pilot, thank God.
Okay. Wow.
You went down to Carson and just hijacked it.
That's what I'm thinking.
No, then we left from Long Beach Airport, of all things. So
wow.
But it was pretty cool. Guy let me fly it for a little bit. It was fun.
Yeah.
And it's like you can't fly a blimp. You're just kind of corralling it from where it goes. One way or the other, you go back over this way.
Yeah, it's kind of like surfing.
Yeah, exactly. You got to go with where the wind blows. Yeah, I couldn't hear much of the show. I was doing the radio breaks from a two-way citizens band radio or something. yeah, really. So that was pretty cool. It was very big. I was kind of glad I wasn't down in that mosh at that time. So.
Yeah, I mean, for those of you at home who've never been to the Rose Bowl, it's a really big place.
Yeah,
it's a really big place. I mean, the Coliseum's big, but the Rose Bowl is just huge.
Yeah, all I can think of, every time I think about the Rose Bowl, I think about what a nightmare parking is there. You get stuck in there.
For me, it's like sacrilege because you have to park on a golf course.
Yes. That's right.
And there were, that Rose Bowl Metallica gun show, there were a lot of cars that were stuck in sand traps that had gone over the lip and in the sand. They were like hanging out like this.
No kidding. Yeah, it's a riot.
That's fantastic.
Yeah. Well, it's rock and roll, man.
Yeah.
That's something.
See those guys come out and dude, what's with the car, man? This is like a par 4, dude. You ruined it.
I'm sure they have to shut down the course on those days, don't they, Jack?
For sure. For sure.
Oh my God. I would think, and then it had to be 2 or 3 days of repair.
Yeah.
Oh man, I've never played that course. I can't imagine that it's ever in good shape.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Replace those divots. Yeah. Thanks a lot.
Yeah. I think Jack and I, we did some sort of a silly challenge on the air, and we were trying to get somebody to, I forget what fairway it is. I think it's the number 4 fairway that's closest to the Rose Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
We were trying to get somebody to hit a driver or some kind of shot into the Rose Bowl and document it on video.
Right.
Because I think you can.
Yeah.
And we had a couple of guys called, I can make that shot. Yeah, I can make it.
Of course. Yes.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah, we made listeners do a few stupid things, like the one when we sent I think they had just moved to Southern California, and we had them do the surf report. They had to go into the water and measure it from the back of the wave.
Oh, yeah, right. Yeah, that's how you do it.
Yeah.
That's how you do it. So get back there.
Right. Oh yeah.
Take that yardstick and go measure that.
The back, because the front is Hawaii, so that's a little different.
Yeah.
Hey, so Jack, you got to tell us a story about the KNAC balls.
Oh God.
So we
could not afford billboards.
That's a reaction I wanted.
Yes, we cannot afford billboards. So we had these balls with these big balloons that took 3 5-foot tanks of helium to fill. And so,
Wow.
yeah.
Yeah, they
I
were
mean,
big
so I'd
ass
have to go pick up. I'd have to go pick up the tanks, and then we were doing it was the Cinco de Mayo at the Marquee.
Oh.
So I get the first one filled up, and there's like a little post that's out in front of the marquee. So you kind of tied it off, kind of like you would a horse, like if you were riding a horse, and you would.
Sure. Yeah.
So I'm about a little more than halfway filling the second ball, and I look over, and my knot is unraveling from the one that I'd already tied. So now I'm like, what do I do? Because I've got to get this, save that one, but this one's already too full. And if I grab both at the same time, they're going to take me to Brazil.
Yeah, Sophie's choice. You're gone.
Exactly. So I went for the one that was tied up and fumbled. And they both went away.
Yeah.
Up into the. So Gary, who Ted was talking about earlier, is the general manager. Apparently was one of the nicest guys on the planet. Scared the shit out of me.
Yeah.
Right. So I had to go to our boss, my boss, Tom Marr. He was, I'll talk to Gary. So he goes and talks to Gary. Blah, 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 blah. And I'm like on tiptoes every time I go by Gary's office. I don't want him to see me. I don't want anything. No, don't even look at me.
Yeah.
So we're at the Christmas party. So this was May. So now this is the Christmas party in December. And he's calling everybody up, giving them their bonus checks or whatever. He's calling it Thrashpie. And he calls Jack Trash.
$10.
Right. Is your jelly of the month?
So I go up there and he goes, well, I don't know. I had to think long and hard whether or not to even give you a bonus. But here you go. And he handed me 2 balloons.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Oh my God. That's awesome.
And then he gave me my check for $14.95. But
boy.
but yeah, that was the ball. The balls ended up getting found in like Argentina or something. That's a lot of helium.
Yeah, that's a lot of helium.
Yeah, yes, it is.
You would have been like that.
Like rising through the LA airspace, with all that air. All those
airports. They weren't shot down.
Yeah. You ever seen that jackass guy in the lawn chair, and he gets all those balloons and claims to fly all around and to come home safely?
Right.
Yeah.
That would have been me.
Yeah, that's the kind of stuff that happens all the time, Chris, at a fun radio station like that. Something silly's happening to somebody.
Yep.
Somebody's screwing up. One of the interns loses the van or something.
Yep.
Right. I wanted to take the van down to Terminal Island and race it in the drag strip down there. but because there used to be a drag strip on Terminal Island until about 92 or 3, right, Jack?
Yep.
Something like that. Yeah. But no,
I don't think
they
I
wouldn't
want to
let
be
me have
drag
it.
racing on any place called Terminal.
No, right.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one.
Right.
That's somewhere just below Alcatraz in names.
All kind of fun stuff like that.
Yes.
Yeah. The big promotion that Jack and I ever did was the Trash Christmas Bash.
Yes, that was also at the Marquee.
Also at the Marquee, world famous now Hustler strip joint.
Wow. Well, I mean, all this really changes the name. I mean, it's kind of the same content if you think about it.
Oh yeah, really.
Yeah, pretty.
Yeah. So
where was that? Westminster?
Yes.
Yes, Westminster, just off the 22 down there. Right.
Yep.
That's right. Did you guys ever play there? I'm sure you did.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I'm sure. Oh, yeah.
I think like every iteration of any band I was in, like professional or non.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
That was the big road trip from go to Hollywood to Westminster.
Right. It was either there were the ones here in Hollywood. It was Jezebel's, the Marquee, Waters Club, Fender's Ballroom, and fill in the blank on your fifth one, whatever you want to say.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, that whole club scene in Orange County, I don't even know what they do anymore. I understand that if you remember some of the promoters, the guy that I worked for the most was Joe Schultz, the Schultz family.
Yep.
And they did shows in Orange County, did all kind of crap. They did country stuff. And I worked for Joe Schultz, and I understand Joe is still promoting shows in Orange County.
Wow.
Yeah. I don't know what kind of shows.
Yeah.
Still promoting shows.
It's probably at the senior center now because he was old back then.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Yeah, they were a group that they had a real racket going.
Yeah.
The dad, old Joe Schultz, he talked like this. Hey, Thrasher, I was the first guy to drive a race car in Long Beach streets. You know, that's how they started the Grand Prix because of the stuff I used to do up there. You know, God knows what he did really, but you know, he had that story.
So there is Ted Pritchard.
Yeah.
Otherwise known as Thrasher, Thrashpie, your favorite guy. He's got that book out, Headbanging Radio, his time at KNAC.
Go get it.
I sent it to you. What, you read it in like 3 days?
Oh yeah, just blasted right through it. Yeah.
It's a very good read.
Yeah.
You get the feel for what it was like, and unfortunately for people in radio, what it will never be like again.
True. Yeah. You might as well be talking about the silent movie era. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Which is a bummer. Like you said, like just some of the events that used to come out of the stations were just really crazy fun events.
Oh,
like
yeah.
when he was talking about the Monsters of Rock, or what was the one at the Coliseum? You know, like, here, I'm just going to fly the blimp for a while. Sure, Ted, take the wheel, Ted. You're flying a balloon. Go ahead, right? You're not on the 405. You're in this big airbag full of stuff. Yeah, go ahead. You know, whatever.
You can do it. You can do it.
I'm like, what do you call those guys? A pilot? What would you call the captain? What would you call the? Where was he?
Yeah, I know. He was probably filling the balloon up with
exactly. Yeah, exactly. Doing lines of Kirk Hammett in the back of it. Yeah, who knows?
We did one of the things that we did is when Alice Cooper released the Trash record, is we had Alice in our van. Ted was doing an interview with him, and I was driving, and we were going down Sunset Boulevard, and we'd get to a block before Tower Records. Alice would jump onto the back of a garbage truck.
Sure.
Pull up to the Tower Records and then run in and deliver the record.
Yeah, there you go.
Go down to the warehouse. We go down to Music Plus and Licorice Pizza, whatever else was down.
Sam Goody, right? Yeah.
Yeah, and it was in almost every single rock star that came into the station was almost more in awe of being at the station than we were of them.
I mean, I can speak from experience. When we got signed, when Cold Sweat got signed, we were still Ferrari, and we came down to do Lady Di's show at KNAC, and I remember thinking, "Holy shit, I'm here!" It's like somehow this was more exciting than getting signed. I was like, "I'm at KNAC, not KMET, not KLOS. No, I'm at fucking KNAC. This is amazing! Wow, no one's gonna believe me. Wow, wow, wow! I still have it. I have it on cassette.
Yeah,
I have the recording.
That's good. And the other thing too about KNAC, but like what we were talking about earlier, the station was very small.
Oh yeah, it's tiny.
The signal was terrible, and this guy from New York, who's a radio legend, I guess, Scott Shannon, brought pirate radio.
Oh yeah.
And it tried to mirror what we were doing. What they were playing was more everything that was on MTV.
Yes, the harder
they were playing the bands, but they were playing all the hits of the bands.
And,
and we ended up running them out of. They had 100,000 watt radio station. I mean, they could be heard everywhere.
Yeah,
and we ended up running them out of town because we had the loyalty. We had the. I mean, before it was a word, we had the street cred.
Yes, you did.
Yep.
I mean, to this day, I've got a KNAC shirt, and when I wear it, people are just like, "Oh man!" I mean, and I'm in Charleston, South Carolina.
Yeah.
It had that much pull.
Yeah.
Which is unheard of, and like you said, won't happen again.
No. It was cool when all the rock stars would wear the shirts in their videos.
Oh yeah, man. I mean, it was definitely, like I said, when we got down there, and I'm walking in, and I'm going, okay, it's a basic radio station, it's kind of small, but it's still KNAC, man. And like you said, it was almost kind of exclusive, the fact that it didn't go far with the signal.
Right.
That was almost kind of cool. It's like a little punk rock of it. Like, well, we can only reach so far. So if you can't get us, tough luck.
Yeah, come down.
By the way, here's Metal Church. Yeah,
exactly.
But yeah, I remember we're going through some of the Cold Sweat stuff for the record. We're doing the demos and the live stuff. So I was looking at I put together a video for the band way back when called "Break Out of Hell," the first, then I put our set in order. So I was like 4 on the floor all the way through to the Foghat song. So the very first appearance of us on the video is Tawn Mastery, as we are opening for Michael Schenker Group at the Palace.
Nice.
So Tawn opens the tape. So she is the first voice you hear is Tawn Mastery.
Right. Nice. That's very good. That's very good.
Yep.
I think not all of the jocks, but most of the jocks ended up on somebody's live record.
Yeah, sure. I can believe that.
I'm on a Macaulay Schenker Group live record from the Celebrity Theater.
Okay. Sure.
Dangerous Darren's on the live Keel record.
The one that was at the Roxy, that one?
Yep.
Larger Than Life?
Yep.
Okay.
Tawn was on Shark Island live record. And I'm pretty sure Ted was on it's kind of a bootleg, but we did we had Skid Row live from the Marquee, and I actually somewhere, and Ted is the one who's bringing them on.
That had to be mayhem.
They were on the New Jersey tour with Bon Jovi.
Okay.
Bon Jovi played 4 nights at the Forum.
Wow.
2 a day off, and 2 the day off is when he and his wife got married in Vegas.
Dorothea?
Yep.
Yep.
So that day, Skid Row played the Marquee. That day off from the Forum.
Oh yeah.
If the Marquee, for those who were never at the Marquee, which is most everybody, it's a club that holds, what, maybe 400?
Oh, maybe
400. What they did is they
took, and that's asses to elbows. That's tight.
Yeah. There was a big bar kind of right in the middle.
Yeah. And it was a weird stage too.
Yeah. They took the bar out.
Oh, wow.
They took the bar out, and there were 1,500 people there.
Holy shit. It had to look like a sardine net.
I never even made it inside because I had the van. I was handing out stickers, doing my normal thing.
Wow.
And we were broadcasting it live. So
Sure.
It was like, well, I don't need to go in there and, sweat. I can just hear it out here.
Right, exactly.
And
have a rib broken or two, yeah.
The thing about KNAC is we couldn't afford a delay.
Uh-oh.
So
our 7-second delay, huh?
Our program director at the time went to Sebastian Bach and said, "We're live. Please don't swear.
Please, Sebastian, please
don't swear." In the first,
and I'm sure that went in here and out there.
Oh no, it went in here and out here. So I think the quote is, "We're live on the baddest motherfucking station in the world, KNAC. They asked me to tone my act down, and I told them I'd think about it, but I don't think I fucking want to." And it went from there.
Oh boy,
we could have been yanked off the air about 10 times that night.
Oh yeah, no kidding, right?
But it never happened, and it just goes to the street cred.
It does. Yeah. It does. I mean, I remember being, where was I? I want to say somewhere in Indonesia or, Japan or Singapore or something. And I got to talking to some local kid about KNAC. That's what he wanted, because I lived in Los Angeles.
Right.
What was KNAC like? And just like, wow, you want to know about a radio station? That's nuts.
Yeah.
But cool.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
and then you had Ted at the center of it. Ted literally right there.
Yeah, for sure. I remember when I first heard about it, the day it went on the air, and I remember just sitting in front of my stereo with a pen and a paper, writing the songs down, going, "Oh my God, they're playing this. Oh my God. Oh shit."
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And it's so funny because all that aggressive music, and Ted is like the complete opposite.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
He's just so deceptively mellow. You're like,
yes.
Thrash, really? Thrash? Are you sure, dude?
Yeah.
Maybe nap pie? He's just so calm, so funny, so articulate.
Yes.
He was great. It's one of those people that I'm sorry I met him this late in life, but thank you for the introduction. He's just, I think he's just incredible. He's a great dude.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And we got to have him back.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
Because For the kids at home, what happened the first time was Ted's audio was so fucking bad. It was like trying to listen to some sort of Enigma code in World War II, and you get the people from Bletchley Park, figured out what he was saying. They're just like, God, we got to do it again. So there's stories he didn't tell the second time that we were trying to get out of him.
Right.
Like the first KNAC meeting, the last KNAC day, how he got in. I mean, there's some other really great stories that we got to get him to tell again.
Oh yeah. And a lot of those stories are in the book.
In his book.
So definitely pick it up. Headbanging Radio. That's the name of it. Totally worth it. Totally. I remember going out to visit him when he was just starting it.
What, the book?
The book, yeah.
Yeah.
And somewhere I hope it becomes really big, because I have the notebook binder with all the typed pages.
Oh wow, that's cool.
Yeah. So I want it to be big, so that will be worth something.
Wow. Well, that's the other part I liked about it was he's from an era that, again, just did not exist anymore. Like going to radio stations, getting big in a certain area, and then trying to just like the beginning of when I think it's actually the end of KRP. No, the first song on KRP, where they describe going from town to town and town to town, and that's what you did in those days.
Yeah.
And you change your character and you change your name but you change it to that city and you try and fit in and fit the format. And they get to a certain size, and then, okay, I got to go over here. And it could be it's not like playing baseball. We're like, okay, I'm always going to be a catcher in the American League.
Right.
No, you could be in Detroit and you're this guy, and you could be in Maryland and you're this guy. You could be in Florida and you're this guy. Completely different guys.
Yeah, and you've got to be able to adapt to the surroundings for that.
Yeah, never mind the gear, never mind the owners of the station. We told that one story about the owners and the towers and all this. I mean, fantastic.
So funny. I mean, there are a lot of big name people got their start in radio, which again is not going to happen anymore. But there was a AM station out of Pasadena that for 3 years, Harry Shearer did a weekend show.
Wow.
If I'm not mistaken, he never played the same character twice.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
And again, I'm sure the bar is still fairly high for the big talent.
Yeah.
But it seems like to me that the bar has lowered.
Yeah.
So not like, oh, anybody can get a show on Sirius XM, but sometimes it feels like anybody can get a show on Sirius XM,
Right.
It's like, wow, man. In the old days, as you said, you had to go to the broadcasting school. You had to know how to talk on the air. Yep. You had to run the gear. You had to pronounce a certain thing. They had a Jerry Lewis always does this broadcaster's test. You know what I'm talking about? It's like 1 through 10.
Yeah. And
you have to read it, and you have to get all the way through it without choking.
Right.
Because you were speaking on the air. That was one of the things I learned from Ronnie Dio. Listen to yourself in interviews. Listen to other people. How many uhs, likes, yeah, no. Try to erase all of those from your there's one right there, from your interview.
Right.
And it's tough because at first you're thinking, oh, it's easy. And then you listen back to yourself like, wow, I sound like a blithering idiot. And Ronnie was just the king of it. He was just so slick.
Yes.
Never made it look hard. It was just breeze.
Right.
But when that's your mentor, you pay attention.
Yeah, for sure. And if you go back and you watch the video that we just played with Ted, one thing that I have taken from him forever is the way he enunciates words.
Yes.
You can watch him. You can watch his mouth when there's a certain word, whatever that word is that he wants to enunciate. He does it perfectly.
Yes. And he turns his head at the same time. He does this, thinks about it, and then comes back and says it.
Yep. I've taken that from him. That was one of the main things I learned a lot from him, but I really remember that, just being able to enunciate correctly.
Yeah, it's crazy how valuable that is.
Yeah.
I mean, in basic phone conversations, you'll hear it.
Mm-hmm.
I deal with it all the time. I'll hear myself say something and just go, "Oh God, come on, McLernon, open your get the gravel out of there. Open your mouth."
Right.
But well, there's one. Shouldn't done that. Or there's another. Oh my God.
Oh, they're all over now. They're all over now.
It's like so fired. If I was on KNAC right now, I'm so fired. But yeah, we've got to get Ted back also to talk about the market at the time.
Yes.
So when KNAC came out, like you said, there was pirate radio, but they were later.
They were later.
And then there was KMET, there's KLOS,
Yep.
and there's a couple other like kind of little stragglers. What did he say? Something like 140 or some ridiculous amount of radio stations in the Los Angeles area.
Yeah, 80 or something. Yeah, there was a lot. There was a lot.
Yeah, and a lot of those are going to be talk or whatever, but it was so crazy that nobody was playing hard rock.
No.
Because the story that I don't think he told it in this one, but he told it in the bad audio one, that the owner of the station saw Iron Maiden selling out the Long Beach Arena like 4 or 5 nights, like somewhere in Times Square.
Live After Death.
Live After Death. Okay. Yeah. It was like, who is that?
Right.
Well, that's Iron Maiden. Well, what do they play? It's metal. And okay, well, let's find out more about them. Like, is anyone playing them in town? No.
Is anybody playing them in the world? No.
Right. How? How is nobody playing this stuff? And then the late night trip to Tower Records.
Yeah, he gave the sales manager like whatever it was, like $1,500.
Yep.
To go to the Tower
back in 1985.
Hollywood.
Yeah, that's a fuck ton of money. 1985.
Yeah, and at 2 a.m. because they didn't want anybody to know that's what's going to happen.
That's right, because Tower was open late.
It was open all night, I think.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the way the station started, which is crazy.
It's amazing to think that they just literally the market handed them that.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, literally, it's wide open, and it just took off within weeks.
Yeah.
That was the other thing he said in the other one. We got to repeat that too. Where the numbers went, like in the first like 30, 60, 90 days.
Yeah.
It was crazy. It was like 1, 2, 5,000, 15,000, 20,000. It just boom through the roof.
Yeah, it was great. And I remember when the station first started, Journey had a new record out. And the first single was "Be Good to Yourself," which is a rockin' tune for Journey.
Right.
Not for KNAC, but for Journey.
Oh, no.
And the station played it once and got threatened to be blown up.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
There was some loyalty immediately to that radio station.
Wow. What's the chance that we can go back and find some of the playlists from back then?
Oh, I'm sure somebody's got. There's got to be somebody that's got them.
Yeah, especially in this day, the internet nerd factor. Yeah, somebody's definitely got like February 5th, 1986.
Yeah,
this is what we played all day. Oh, there's no doubt. No, there's I think I remember hearing Van Halen's "Why Can't This Be Love" on like KMET or KLOS or something, and then going over to KNAC, and they're like, we're not playing that crap. That's not Van Halen. This is Van Halen. Van Halen is Dave, man. They play like Unchained or Everybody Wants Some or something like that. Like they're not fucking the AM radio pop shit.
Right.
Just the unabashed, disdain for pop. Oh,
there was one. But
that's made it fun.
There was not a dull day in it. There was one jock meeting where the station had kind of turned a little bit to go with what was happening.
Oh God.
And not a lot, but just a little bit.
Okay.
And the program director at the time, Brian Schock, who's in Charleston now.
Oh, yeah, yes, yeah.
He brought us all outside, and he had a sledgehammer, and he put down Aerosmith's Ragdoll record. And we all took turns smashing it to hell. We will never play this song again.
Wow. Yeah, and as I say, the crowd went wild.
Yeah.
But by the way, for the listeners of the podcast, please tell some of the unknown facts of you being the driver of the KNAC event and the host at Red Onion, and your drink tab.
So we had a KNAC night at the Red Onion. They were all over Southern California.
Yeah, vicious Long Island iced teas if you ever drank.
Yeah, they had those.
Wow.
So my job, because I didn't have any experience, was to drive around the drunk DJs. So I did that for a while, and then I made my way onto the air and all that kind of stuff. Anyway, I got replacing somebody or substituting for somebody at a Red Onion. And at the end of the night, we would get paid $200 cash.
Right.
And that was our appearance fee for being running for 2 hours and just giving away stuff and talking on the microphone and all that crap.
Right.
So the general manager went, "Why don't you have a drink tab? You know, you could have a drink tab." And I said, "I don't drink."
I'm sure he's like, pardon
me? So I went from West Covina on Thursdays to Santa Ana on Wednesdays to Huntington Harbor on Tuesdays, and on Mondays I was on Redondo Beach.
Wow.
And by the end of it, I was actually for a few weeks, I was at the Red Onion in San Diego.
Jesus.
Where they would put me up for the night, which was nice.
Cool.
But and in San Diego, the place was packed. Even
really?
You could not even get a glimpse of the station from down there. It's just, wow, those rock stars are wearing it in the videos. You could not go. There was probably a 5 to 7 year period where you could not pick up a rock magazine and not see somebody wearing a KNAC shirt.
Yep, exactly. Totally agree. Yep. I mean, it was just either that or the bumper stickers.
Yeah, which I probably gave to whoever.
I was going to say, yeah, you gave plenty of those out, I'm sure.
Yes, exactly. So, well, anyway, hopefully you enjoyed our trip with Ted down KNAC memory lane.
Yeah, more planned for sure.
Totally.
Scratch the surface, but go get his book.
Yes, get his book. Please get his book because it's totally worth it. And he's also a big baseball fan and wants to come out for spring training. So if you buy his book, he can afford a ticket to come out.
There you go. There you go. So you're enabling baseball. Well done.
Right. We all have this baseball itch. We're ready for the season to start.
Yeah, no kidding, right?
Right.
Will Taylor Swift adhere herself to some sort of baseball player? Maybe someone.
Well, the NHL just had their Taylor Swift, and it was Justin Bieber. He was all over their All-Star game. So baseball's got to get somebody.
Oh boy. Okay. All right. Let's see what happens.
All right. Until next time, I'm Jack Trash.
I am Chris McLernon.
And live your life to 10 plus 1.
And we will see you at will call.